to join our study fair, and particularly my migration seminar. So my name is Namo Kim. I'm the senior migration agent at Soredo Migration. So today I'm going to present to you about the skills in demand visa. Have you guys heard about this visa? Some yes, some no. But I can say that this is the most popular visa at the moment in Australia. That for the international students, they finish the study and they are looking for the migration option, right? So this skilled in demand visa, subclass 482, is currently the most popular visa for the international students right after they complete their study. So that's why today I'm going to give you about the informations and how you can prepare this visa and why you have to understand all the requirements for this visa and everything. Okay? Yeah, so before I talking about the skilled in demand visa, I may give you about the recent changes in Australia for the migration law. And then the other one is that give you some other visa options as well. So skilled visa options and employer sponsor visa. So you can have a bit of information and update for other visas. But the third topic, skilled in demand visa, that I mainly focus on today. And then it's not just about the information for the visa applicant, but you have to discuss with your employer. So all the information about the employer side is also included in this section. So you can easily talk with your boss that, oh, I need this visa, how can you help this one, something like that, okay? And the fourth one that I bring some tips how you can well prepare for this visa. At the end, I can have a Q&A session with you guys. So if you have a question, maybe we can wait until the end of the seminar, then I can allocate enough time to get the Q&A session with you guys, okay? Yeah, there are lots of updates since 2023, specifically end of 2023. So I think you guys have a lot of friends or maybe previous classmates already got a permanent visa in Australia. If it is the case, I may think, oh, maybe they are ready to apply permanent visa in between, right after pandemic, roughly from the 2022 and end of 2023. So I've been working in this industry over 15 years, but specifically for that period is the best period for the students. So most of our students as well, who are ready, who meet all the requirements for the visa, they don't really compete each other. But during these 2 years, they mostly obtain the permanent visa. So I feel like, oh, migration industry is booming. And then, oh, lots of our students will get the permanent visa. But suddenly, since 2023, December, the government start to announce different policies. So maybe, I'm pretty much sure, last year and this year, then you may have a very small news that your friends or classmates get an invitation. Because government already start operating migration program with very strict requirement and then small numbers. So that's why today, the skills in demand visa will give you a lot of opportunity that anyway, you can access to the permanent visa. So that's why in this point of time, clearly understand about this skilled in demand visa is very important. Yeah, this is just the numbers that you guys like the number to understand, right? So after pandemic, they have heaps of applications and permanent visa. But this number doesn't mean the permanent visa grant number. But this is the planning level. So it's temporary visa holders in Australia, and they are calculate in and out. Then lots of temporary visa holders come in. So that's why the Australia immigration, they try to reduce this number, and they set up the 260K per year, but at the end, they reduce again. So 185,000 is the current planning level, which means they are control the temporary visa holders number in Australia, then maybe they can have a less number for the permanent visa later. So that's their strategy. So means like students in overseas has a less chance to get the permanent visa now. But you guys are already in here, so have a better opportunity compared to them. So again, so in this situation, what you can do, but again, the skilled in demand visa already giving lots of opportunity for the international students or graduate. So me myself with other 6 migration agents in our company is seriously busy because of this visa. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the current Australia visa options for you. Okay, so I believe that you guys haven't started the study or middle of a study or maybe already complete your study. But it's same. At the end, you may see the only 2 different visa options, employer-sponsored visa or skilled visa. So firstly, skilled visa, there are 3 different categories of the visa. The 189 skilled independent visa, 190 skilled nominated visa, and 491 skilled work regional visas. So those skilled visa has a lot of opportunity, lots of opportunity for the international students during 2022 to 2023. But this is the point-based visa. So you must calculate your point, like your English skill and your age, your experience, your qualification, and your English skill. Everything that you make a point, and then higher point that you get selected, and then apply visa. So these visas, you cannot apply visa straight away. You must express of your interest to the department, so you can register your information. I'm 28 years old, my English score, blah, blah, blah. Then department will pick for the higher point, or if they meet their requirement, then they giving the invitation to apply visa. So currently, all the 3 different visas are quite operating well, but with a very minimum number of invitations is issued now. So that's why, let's say, to be honest, from the January, and then it's almost the end of March, for 3 months, I haven't got any invitation. Not just me, for all our agents haven't got any invitation. So that's why the skilled visa is a kind of a competition-based visa. Even though you are very good, you are outstanding, you reach to the 80 point, but your friend, your classmate become 85, then you may lose the chance to get the invitation, because anyway, the point is the most very important fact, they send you the invitation. So if anyone in here considering about this skilled visa, always make sure how to increase my point. Always have to think about how to increase my point. English, experience, CCL, there are many factors that you still can increase the point. Because of this very limited and then strict process for this skilled visa, now the employer-sponsored visa become very popular. So one of the employer-sponsored visa is the 482 visa. Again, under the employer-sponsored visa, we also have 3 different visas. 186 ENS visa, 482 skilled in demand visa. I mainly talk about this one later, and 494 skilled employer sponsored visa. This is a regional area based visa. So this 186 visa is a permanent visa, but 482 skilled in demand visa is a temporary visa. But anyway, this temporary visa will allow you to access for the permanent visa at the end. So that's why obtain this skilled in demand visa may be your first option after you get the after you graduate and then have experience already. So again, there are lots of changes and they make it everything difficult, but the only one good news that I heard from the immigration side since 2023 is they are actually introducing skilled in demand visa. So from now, everyone focus on that I'm talking about the skilled in demand visa. Okay, let's move on to the skills in demand visa. So this visa is replaced by the TSS visa, and then it's already started operating since December last year. So it's only 4 months old. And then under the skilled in demand visa, we have 3 different pathways. Make it easy for the last one, specialty skills pathway. This stream is designed for the highly skilled professional. Let's say maybe AI related IT professional or civil construction or civil engineering project manager. But that's why the salary requirement is very important. So to access this pathway, your salary must be above 135K annual salary. It's separate for the superannuation. So annual guaranteed salary should be 135. So if you are the bus driver, I'm not talking about specific occupation, but let's say if you're a bus driver or just a laborer, even though you get the high salary, it doesn't mean they get access for this pathway. So this is for the skilled professional. So you have to prove, and then you have to prove your minimum annual salary is 135,000 in Australia. But because of this high-skilled professional visa option, so they actually prioritize the process, and then all the visa process for this pathway will be complete within 7 days. But government is only allocated 3,000 place for this visa a year. So I thought it's not many the people can apply this one, but so far as far as you know, they already now the March, right? So it's more than half is filled already. And then the other pathway that we call the essential skill pathway. So this stream, this pathway is designed for the lower paid. Salary is low, but still it's a skilled workers to address skill shortage faced across the range of the industry in Australia. So let's say, and this is based on the labor agreement. So now maybe you heard that, aged care is easy to apply permanent visa. Maybe you heard like that news, right? Aged care. And horticulture industry. So this specific industry, they make a special agreement with the government. And government provide lots of benefit for the workers, that industry. So that's why even though their minimum salary is lower than others, they still can apply. And for the aged care industry agreement, so only qualification, Australia qualification 33 meet all the requirements. You don't need the work experience or anything. So that's why this essential skill pathway become very popular, but important thing, you must hired by the employer who has labor agreement with the government. So not just the common business offer the option for this pathway. Then what's your options? I believe most of the cases in here, you may access to the core skills pathway. Again, this skills in demand visa is under the employer sponsor visa. So it is very important you to understand you cannot apply visa by your own. You must find your employer, your company. Your company must sponsor you to apply this visa. So under the core skills pathway, nurses, chef, cook, hairdresser, lots of occupations under the CSOL is announced on December last year. CSOL, core skilled occupation list. So your occupation is under the CSOL, then you can access this visa pathway. So at the moment, around the 450 occupation is listed under the CSOL. So quite a lot. But again, they have a salary requirement. So the salary must be in between 73,150 to 135,000 a year. But this minimum salary is increasing year by year. So maybe 1st of July this year, there will be some changes as well for the minimum salary. So I'm expecting around 75,000. And this one around maybe 140,000, something like that. So these salaries keep increase. So I believe that most of you guys maybe consider this pathway because they have quite a lot. The available occupation is quite large, and then the salary requirement, this one is too high. So mostly from my more than 90% case of my case is also go through this core skills pathway. And core skills pathway, what's your requirement? Again, this is not a visa that you can apply for directly. So you must get your business, your employer or your boss sponsorship and nomination. Then you can finally apply visa. And then your occupations, chef, cook, whatever, must be under the CSOL. Then here is some popular occupations. And then on the Google, you can simply search CSOL. Then you can see the entire list of the occupation. But it is around 556 occupations. So let's talk a little bit about the bed nurse, like a bed nurse, and then EN. Those occupations, previously we cannot apply for any employer sponsor visa. But those occupations is now under the CSOL, then they are now eligible to apply the skilled in demand visa, followed by ENS, permanent employer sponsor visa as well. And this occupation, this visa only require you to have a right qualification, relevant qualification, and only 1 year full-time experience. Only 1 year full-time experience. That's very important. That's very important. So all the announcement from the migration department, they has a negative, become very difficult. But skilled in demand visa give lots of opportunity. And now they require only have a 1 year experience and English score. They still maintain the same with the TSS visa, so 5.0 each. Very low English as well. And this is temporary visa, but after 2 years, you can apply ENS employer sponsor visa for permanent resident. And good thing for this visa itself, no age limitation. No age limitation. So because they only require the 1 year experience, so now I see the many clients, their age is already over 35, so they cannot apply the graduate visa in Australia because graduate visa age limitation has been changed to the 35. Then they still can have a chance to meet the 1 year's full-time experience if they work in that occupation during their study. So this visa giving lots of opportunity, to be honest, for the students. So this is the most popular occupation at the moment under the CSOL, but this is not everything. If you search the Google and get into the entire occupation list, there are over 450 occupations, then you can prepare. And this is the most common question from my client, and then most of our client is confused about this part. So I want to give you very clear information, okay? Very clear information. Everyone talk about the work experience. So Namo, you said only 1 year work experience. Then can I use my current work experience during my study? Or is it must be after study? Or can I use my work experience from my home country? Lots of questions, right? But before I talk about the skilled in demand visa work experience, I give you one clarification. So in Australia, I already talked to you about how many visa that I took. 6, right? 6. So these 6 visas work experience is all different. That actually killing my job, to be honest, but killing your job as well. So, for example, in the skilled visa for the 189, it must be post-qualification experience. But they don't care about the casual, part-time, full-time. No. But at least 20 hours experience in that occupation. Then we can use 189 visa experience. So when you calculate your experience point in the migration system, oh, I work 20 hours per week, and this is a after-study experience, then I can still claim that experience for this visa. But 186 ENS visa is the same. Oh, the experience must be post-qualification experience, means after you study, all the experience is only counted. However, for the 186 visa, it must be full-time base. We still use the part-time, but we have to calculate in the full-time pro rata base. So let's say you work 20 hours for 6 months. Then for the full-time, for the ENS visa, then you only say, oh, I have only 3 months experience. But again, for the 189 visa, I have a part-time 6 months, then I have a 6 months experience. So that's why, based on the visa you apply for, all the requirement is different. The best thing is you always find a full-time job. They all accept it. But sometimes you work for casual. Sometimes you start from the part-time and then become a full-time, right? But today, you can forget everything, but at least this one, please understand, for the skilled in demand visa, okay? Today, work experience that I mentioned in here is for only skilled in demand visa. So this skilled in demand visa work experience, full-time, part-time, casual, that's okay. Even casual is okay. But experience should be within last 5 years. But what about I'm doing the cookery study, but I'm currently working as a chef, but I haven't completed my study yet. Can I use my chef experience? Yes. For the skilled in demand visa, yes, you can use. You can use. But you have to persuade the case officer that even though I haven't finished my qualification, but I still work as a chef. So you have to provide the evidence. So maybe contract will be the evidence, and also employment reference letter and pay evidence will be the evidence. And can I use my home country experience, home country? So let's say I'm from Korea, then before I come for my cookery study, then I worked in Japan for the chef, as a chef. Can I claim that experience? Can I claim that experience from the different country? Yes, if it is reasonable. For example, I don't have any background about the hospitality and then kitchen management or cookery, okay? Then I suddenly say, oh, my boss can issue the letter. And then I have a pay evidence. Then I say, oh, I worked as a chef from Japan before I come to Australia. Then case officer may see your resume and see that, oh, this guy has any qualification before or any other experience before the chef experience claim. Then if nothing there, then how case officer believe that one, right? In the kitchen, there are certain level like a kitchen hand, cook, and chef. But without any background, then I claim the chef, then case officer not gonna believe that one, right? But let's say another case recently, they had one Japanese client that has no qualification at all, but has a 6 years hospitality experience, started from the cook, 4 years, and another 2 years chef, and come to Australia and currently studying cookery. Then I said, oh, you complete the course, you don't need the extra work experience because your experience in Japan will be accepted because it's reasonable. You have started from the cook for 4 years, and now you had a 2 years chef experience and come to Australia and then started the official study. That's okay. So you meet the qualification, yes. Yes, cookery if you complete the course in Australia. And then you have a 1 year experience. Yes, you already work as a chef in Japan. You meet all the requirements, talk with your boss. You don't need to apply graduate visa. Then her boss is happy to sponsor her. So we are preparing the case. So it depends on your situation. But what I want to say today is, yes, during study, before study, home country, everything that you can claim if you can prove that experience is genuine. And how we can prove that experience? So we usually provide two different types of the evidences. The first one, reference letter or contract. Second one, pay evidence. Pay evidence is quite straightforward, right? Pay slip, income statement, and superannuation record, and maybe your national pension record. But reference letter, you should make sure the contents. It's not just about the work as a chef from the February 2023 to December 2024. You must also mention about your duty and responsibility on the letter. So maybe if you have a contract already, you may see the job description letter on the contract. If you don't have a contract, that's okay. But if you decide to change the employer, then you always talk with your current employer, issue the correct reference letter. So correct reference letter means position, employment duration, and duty and responsibility. So just the letter, oh, Namo Kim worked at ABC restaurant from January to December 2024 as a chef, not accepted by the government. You get the more information request. So the letter must contain about your duties. And this is the process. Again, the SID visa, we cannot apply directly. We need the employer sponsorship. So the process always starts with the government, the employer, company. Company must approve business sponsorship, and they have to launch the nomination. Then finally, you can apply for the visa. So you must discuss with your employer first about these visa options. So business sponsorship, very simple. They are checking this business is legally operating and then registered in Australia. Like ABN, they have ABN or ACN, something like that. And nomination, more than 95% of the visa refused because of the nomination. So in the nomination process that the case officer will see, it's really there is genuine needs for the chef, or genuine needs for the IT professional, or genuine needs for the accountant, something like that. So how we can prove there is genuine need? So that's why we check the salary the company offer is reasonable. It's at the market salary rate. And also my business, let's say you are the agency, but we cannot give a sponsorship for chef. Not reasonable, right? Same. And then restaurant, my business is a restaurant. We make a food, we are selling the food, but takeaway base. Then case officer will see, oh, you guys' business nature is a takeaway base. Then why you need chef? Something like that. So they are checking about your business, why they need you, and what's the salary you offer, and you have a financial capacity to offer the sponsorship. So this is the most difficult part. And then visa for your side, very clear, okay? Qualification, degree certificate, and 1 year experience, and IELTS 5.0, PTE 36, that's it. That's it. But this part is the most difficult part. And then for the employer side, they have to pay many different things. So the firstly, sponsorship. But this business sponsorship, if they get an approval, then it will be valid for 5 years. So they don't need to apply again and again and again. So just the one business sponsorship is valid for the 5 years. But nomination, they have to make a new nomination application for the every single employee if they want to sponsor. So sponsorship application fee 420, nomination application fee 330, and then employer have to pay SAF levy. So that's why maybe you heard that, oh, my employer, my boss, not gonna sponsor any of our employee because they have to pay a lot. But you see the application fee is not really expensive. It's cheaper than student visa application fee. But SAF is quite expensive. So what is the SAF? It's a Skilling Australian Fund. So it's kind of, you can make it easy. It's kind of a tax that employee have to pay to the government because they are not recruiting domestic workforce, but they are recruiting overseas workers. So that's why they have to pay. So this fee will be used for the supporting training and upskilling for the Australian workers. So your employer, because that's the Australian business, but you still hire the overseas workers, so you pay tax. Make it simple. But this levy is based on the business size. So your company, the turnover, annual sales is less than 10 million or over 10 million, the levy fee is different. So let's say this is a small business, then $1,200 per year, and then over 10 million is other business is $1,800 per year. But this you have to calculate. If you apply for the SID visa for 3 years, then at the nomination stage, your employer have to pay $3,600 or maybe $5,400. It's the annual salary, annual sales is over 10 million. So depends on the size, the annual fee, the levy is decided, but have to be multiplied for the visa duration. So that's why the employer have to pay a lot. And maybe at the end for the another ENS visa, they have to sponsor you again for the permanent visa employer sponsorship. Then they have to pay another levy. So small size is 3,000 one-off, and then 5,000 for the bigger business. So that's why government, the employer side, they have to pay around over 10K, right, for the sponsorship for temporary visa or employer. But long-term purpose, they don't need to hire another staff. They can keep the good employee, so it's a win-win. But sometimes the employer feel like, oh, it's too much. But that's why when the report comes up, they actually said, oh, they will think about to reduce the cost for the employer, but nothing happened. Nothing happened yet. But at least I believe in this year they will provide the installment. Now said even though you apply for 3 years visa, then at the nomination stage you have to pay for 3 years levy at the same time. But they promise they will maybe provide some installment, but reducing the cost, I don't think so. But why SID visa is better than previous TSS visa? So TSS visa, if you get the TSS visa with the restaurant A, make it easy, restaurant A, then if you want to apply the ENS permanent visa, you must stick with that employer for another 2 years. Then you can apply the permanent visa. Of course, you can change, but once you change it to the restaurant B, you have to apply the new nomination, and the experience with the restaurant A will be cleared, set up, 0. So you have to do another 2 years with the restaurant B. But for the skilled in demand visa, yes, you can change. And they give the enough time, 180 days, for 6 months, that you find another restaurant. Then you already work 1 year with the restaurant A, then get a new nomination for restaurant B, then you still can use the 1 year experience with the restaurant A. and they just need another 1 year with the restaurant B and apply the permanent visa. So that's the very, very good point for the SID. And then government also said they will list all the company name who already have a sponsorship. So the workers can easily find the company who has a sponsorship. But they actually promised many things, but haven't started many things yet, but they will introduce soon. And then, to be honest, compared to the TSS visa, SID visa process is quite simple and then streamlined and then quite fast. So you may get some visa outcome relatively faster than TSS. But because of the less requirement for the visa, now massive application is launching now. So the processing time is keep delaying, to be honest. But if you are business, your company is located in the regional area. So regional area doesn't mean very far from here. It's just the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, even the 30 minutes away, what's the name, the Forest Lake, Dara, Springfield, and then, yeah, the very close, Red Cliff, and they also belong to the regional area by the migration purpose. And if your business is located in the regional area, processing is much faster, much faster. And this is the simple, like a process diagram. Let's say that everyone here study something in here, maybe carpentry, cookery, or whatever, and then obtain the graduate visa to build up the experience. But again, for the under the SID, if you have the work experience in that occupation, that position during your study, you still can use your work experience. So it's very important you to find the employer offer the positions. And then you jump into if your employer happy to sponsor you, you can apply the SID, skilled in demand visa. After 2 years, you can finally apply permanent employer sponsor visa. But again, this time, your employer, new or previous, whatever employer must sponsor you again. This time. And you must have a 2 years extra experience on SID visa. IELTS requirement for this visa is 6.0 each. And age limitation is 45. So you must apply before 45. So this is very important. So usually our students in Australia go to this way. So to be honest, it's not a strategy, but just I want to emphasize two things always happening for our students. English skill. Now, SID visa only required 5.0, right? But initially, when they discuss about this visa option, actually there is a very kind of information that they will increase the English requirement. So it's not surprising they suddenly change their English requirement. But anyway, your goal is applying for the permanent visa, right? ENS visa. The ENS requires 6.0 each, PT 50 each. So make sure study English and then obtain the score as quickly as possible. Then now for the visa purpose, the validity for the English score is 3 years. For 3 years. 3 years. And work experience. Very important, even during your study. During your study. If you start your study in the cookery, please quit the job as a barista. Find the job as a cook, and then maybe progress to the chef during your study. And then maybe everyone before, Hilton Hotel, Marriott, the big restaurant, big hotel, give me more fancy experience history on my resume, right? But those big company and hotel have a less chance to provide the sponsorship. But small business in your town, like a restaurant, and like where is that? Riverside and Brisbane City, they are not that much big, but they can give you the sponsorship as a chef. So think about when you decide your workplace. And then the schools as well. Some school now guarantee the job, and then they provide placement. Important when you decide to study. And salary. Told you every time from the July, salary requirement is increasing. Now 73, 150, but it will be 75,000. So the salary is improving. How to improve salary? But from my experience in Australia, if you stay with one company like me, 15 years in this company, salary difference is not really. But if you build up your experience and skill, and then think about it. And then at the end, but you have to stick with one employer. Then they like your work style, and they believe your skill, then they offer the sponsorship. So today we have a study fair. Then lots of universities for those professional occupations you can counsel. And then cookery schools, lots of 5 cookery schools outside. If you're thinking about the cookery school, there are 5 schools. Construction schools, TAFE Queensland, Alpha College, carpenter, painting, tiling, civil construction design is draft person. Has a TAFE Queensland, International House LS, they are offering those courses. And the childcare is the hottest course at the moment, right? To be honest, childcare is back to permanent visa options. So childcare, 3 schools are outside. And aged care, labor agreement, 5 schools in here. So lots of options. Still, lots of people study and applying for the permanent visa. So it's your decision to prepare or give up. Okay, any questions? Almost on time. Any questions? Anything about this visa or other visa, whatever? Oh, yeah.
Is the SID visa irrelevant to the region?
Region? Yeah. No. SID visa is for all the business in Australia. But again, if your business is located in the regional area, processing is much faster than others. So I have one restaurant in the Ipswich, then 7 days.
So there's a question. What if there is our occupation is not on the CISO list?
A CISO list.
If our occupation is not on the CISO list,
then you don't have visa options. Then maybe you can see another visa opportunity. Maybe it is under the a state nomination related occupation in each state, or you have to figure it out. But at least no for the SID. But if their salary is very high, so the high skilled pathway doesn't care about the CISO. If their salary is very high, happy to. Yep. Okay. Thank you. Oh yeah.
So if we apply for 482 visa via employer, do we get a bridging visa?
Yes. So any visa, if you make it in Australia, then your current visa is getting expired, but you launch the visa before the current visa expire, you will have a bridging visa to wait the decision. So the bridging visa will be there.
Is the remote working experience count as the primary experience?
Remote working experience is in Australia or?
Travel, like the company location is in
Different countries.
no, this country and then
So let's say the company is in Melbourne. Company is in Melbourne, but you work in Brisbane in your home. Yes. Oh, yes. But it depends on the occupation. Maybe IT, yes, right? But chef, no.
If I have like paid experience in my home country, but during my study, like I'm working hybrid or an online model, so does that count for?
So then you have to look at your background, like your bachelor degree or previous qualification is related with that experience. Then yes, then yes. Okay, again, thank you for your time to attending this seminar. But this is not the end. English, very important, right? English. Then there will be PTE seminar here. High score tip seminar will be followed by in 5 minutes in here. So if you are interested about having a good PTE score, stay here and having information. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.